Working with patterns can be very rewarding. First, it enhances your drawing skills, sense of proportion, eye-hand coordination. And second, it's very relaxing. Collecting reference designs is a first step to working with patterns. It is very inspiring. We will start with learning a proper way of copying designs. Please have the worksheets ready. You can print them directly off this lesson page by following the link below this video. There are 6 worksheets on the lesson page. The first 3 are to practice copying techniques, and the other 3 are for you to use while doing a research. We will do the first worksheet together. Working with patterns, we need to understand how they're different from the rest of the designs. Pattern is a design that involves some kind of a repeating element. Patterns can be structured, like linear, radial or grid-based, and free-form, which are the most fun. We start with copying existing designs. Please take your time, pay attention to details and proportions. Before you start drawing, analyze the design. Look for clues that will help you start the drawing. They're usually a center point or a focal point, large and important shapes. If a design reaches the border, mark these points, like in grid drawing technique. Shape of the design outline. A center line acts for symmetrical designs. If there is a path or a shape slant. Important key points where the changes occur. Here is the first design. It is quite simple. Let's take a look at it. Being a radial design, it makes sense to start with placing the center point. Looks like it is actually in the center, so I'm placing a dot right in the center. What is the outline shape of the design? Looks like it fits in a circle. You can use a pencil to sketch that circle or start placing dots to complete the design outline. Then, all that's left is to basically connect the dots. Steady hand, smooth lines, and yes, it is permitted to rotate paper as you work. The second design looks like 5 overlapping bands placed at different angles. They all reach the border outline. These points are our key points for placing the lines. Start with this band. You always start with the closest element when you draw overlapping shapes. To copy the angle of a band, air draw it a few times to let your hand memorize the move. Then carefully draw the first line, then the second, and then the rest of the design. Next design, I'm starting with the circle, the focal point of the design. Place it. The rest of the shapes, like feathers, grow from there. Count them, they should be 5. Notice the last shape starts in a different point. Leave smaller details till the end. Next design. Looks like the elements are following a path. That's what I'm going to start with. Using a pencil, very lightly, I'm drawing a curve. It sets the direction for the design. Divide into 4 parts, not equal, pay attention. Then draw the main shapes. This one is symmetrical. That's why I do the axis first. Focal point, the small circle. Larger shapes next. Everything should be symmetrical. Keep the equal distance from the axis. That's what symmetry is all about, right? Finally, the details. This is a tricky one. The important element here is the curve itself. See where it starts and ends. Mark the key points of the curve. Then connect. Once you have the curve, the rest is easy. Linear patterns. Let's take a look. Can you find the sequence? Feel free to mark the design if it will help you read it. Use the border for the key points. Check the angles. In other words, use the same techniques as we did before. Next pattern. Look for a sequence and symmetry. Separate the elements. Add top and bottom borders. Note their height. Look for key points. Then start with the main shape, the one that looks like a leaf. Note where it starts and ends. Finally, add details. The next pattern is more complex, but the approach stays the same. Analyze it before you start drawing. Separate the elements. Check the border's height. You can practice sketching this element first on a scrap paper if you are not comfortable with drawing it right away. Sketching actually helps in the process of understanding the design. And finally, the last one. Grid pattern, also called wallpaper design, is based on a grid. Again, look for key points. Your key points here are the start and finish of each line. Keep your hands steady to draw a continuous, solid line. Take your time, don't rush. After you finish this worksheet, use the same techniques to work on the rest of them. Refer to the lesson page for additional information and resources. I hope it helped.